for joining us today for a long-anticipated ceremony naming this educational facility for a beloved teacher who touched the lives of hundreds of students, Miss Esther G. Buckley. My name is Mario Mireles, and I humbly serve as the principal of Raymond and Tirsa Martin High School, the flagship school of Laredo. As a principal of Raymond and Tirsa Martin High School, I have the privilege of welcoming you to this very special occasion. Martin High School remains the only high school in Laredo to achieve an A rating for 4 consecutive years from the Texas Education Agency under their current accountability system. So our kids are doing great. We are also very proud that the Esther G. Buckley Early College High School has grown over 500 students. So this morning, we honor the memory of an exemplar educator. We add an important milestone in the history of what we now call the Esther G. Buckley Early College High School. At this time, I will pass the microphone to LASD Executive Director of Communications, Ms. Veronica Castillon, and again, welcome to the flagship school of Laredo. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mireles. And good morning, everybody. Good to see everybody here. Ms. Buckley was a much-loved teacher in our community, and her influence was recognized not only here in our community, but throughout the state of Texas and our nation's capital. But before we continue with our ceremony, I ask everyone to please rise for the presentation of colors by the Raymond and Tirsa Martin High School JROTC under the direction of Sergeant Dinora Villarreal. And the national anthem will be performed by the Martin High School Band under the direction of Mr. Bobby Castro, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Mrs. Buckley's grandchildren, Robin Rodriguez, Elizabeth Torres, Emma Buckley, and Max Torres.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I pledge allegiance to honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you to our Martin High School JROTC Color Guard, our band, and the grandchildren of Miss Esther Buckley. She would be so thrilled to be with us today. On August 14th, 2025, at approximately 7 p.m., the LISD Board of Trustees unanimously approved the renaming of this building in honor of Ms. Buckley. So now, today and forevermore, this school will be called the Esther G. Buckley Early College High School. So it is my pleasure to recognize the distinguished board members who made this decision possible, beginning with the president of the board, the Honorable Mr. Goyo Lopez. The Honorable Veronica V. Orduño, Vice President of the Board. The Honorable Rodolfo Rudy Morales III, Secretary of the Board. The Honorable Alfredo Gustavo Perez, Parliamentarian of the Board. The Honorable Juan Ramirez Jr., Trustee. We're also so honored to be joined today by the Honorable Judith Saffarini, State Senator for District 21. And you will hear more from her in just a little bit. We also have the Webb County Clerk, the Honorable Margie Ibarra. We're so glad to see former LISD Board President, Mr. Armando Lopez. Former Martin High School Principal Blas Martinez. And representing the Sisters of Mercy, Sister Rosemary Welsh. How about members of the Superintendent's Cabinet? Please rise and be recognized. I also see many Martin High School administrators. Also, please rise and be recognized. Martin High administrators. And of course, a Tigerland welcome to all of the Buckley family. We're so pleased that you're able to join us. And at this time, I would like to ask the Honorable Goyo Lopez, President of our board, to come up and say a few words. Mr. Lopez.
Thank you, Veronica. It's great to be back home on Tigerland. This is my homage to Colonel Roberto Flores. For those of you who remember, Colonel Flores would always wear his red blazer. I was talking to Trina yesterday. I said, I don't want to repeat or be redundant with anything that anyone else will be saying today. So I said, I'm going to keep my remarks short and brief. And I was trying to say something that wouldn't be redundant or repeated. So I always, in my life, I'm always thinking about how my life crosses paths with those of others. Sometimes you go 20 years without seeing someone, and all of a sudden our paths cross again. So I started thinking about the life of Mrs. Buckley. They grew up in my neighborhood, just about 4 blocks away. Mrs. Buckley and my mom worked together briefly at Leindecker Elementary. Mrs. Buckley and my mother served on the board of directors for Casa de Misericordia, the only domestic violence shelter in this area. Trina and I went to high school together. Trina and I attended the University of Texas at Austin together. And then the oldest grandchildren of Esther Buckley were Los Pepitos with my oldest son. And that was 3 of her grandchildren, her 3 oldest grandchildren. Sam, Renee, and then Sean in chronological order. And then my youngest children attended Los Pepitos with some of her youngest grandchildren who just gave us a Pledge of Allegiance, and that would be Max. And now Lily crosses paths with my youngest daughter. They all went to Europe together this year. So I keep thinking about how our paths cross, and here we are again today to honor Mrs. Buckley. And then on one final note that I'll leave you with, it also crosses paths with my oldest brother. My oldest brother and Mrs. Buckley were election judges. And so Mrs. Mando always shared stories about how firm, but just and honest, and the integrity that Mrs. Buckley had as an election judge. And that speaks volumes about to who she was as a woman, not in just that capacity, but as a wife, a mother, a grandmother, a member of the faculty, etc. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Thank you for honoring the Buckley family and the legacy of Esther Buckley.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Next, I would like to invite our instructional leader, former Martin High School principal, Mr. Guillermo Pro to the podium to say a few words. Here you go, Mr. Pro.
Thank you, Veronica. Good morning. So, just like Mr. Lopez, he's paying homage to the former principal. As the former principal of this high school, I am paying tribute to, and I'm going to say Dr. Buckley, because she really did earn it. Even though she didn't get that paper, she earned it by the way she lived and by the way she worked. I'm wearing my University of Texas tie today, not just because I'm a proud graduate of the University of Texas, but because I also crossed paths with Goyo at UT, with Trina at UT. Good friends, we've been through it. We worked together, studied together, and then I had the tremendous fortune of not only working with Esther Buckley, but fighting with Esther Buckley. I recall fondly the arguments that we would have over curriculum, the arguments that we would have over doing things the right way. And I can tell you that Mr. Lopez is so correct, so right. You're meant to cross paths with certain people. Certain people cross paths with you to make an impact. Certain people cross paths with you to put you on your path. And I can tell you that Esther Buckley put me on my path many times. We would have conversations about how things should be, about how things were, and then, of course, how things should be because of the way she said they should be. And I agreed with her most of the time, I'd say 90% of the time, because she had a focus and a resolve that no other person that I had ever met had. She was impactful with her words. She was even more impactful and inspirational and intentional with her actions. And because of her action, right now, I can imagine her, just close your eyes the way I am. I can imagine her storming past me right now. No, Mr. Pro, no tengo tiempo para esto. Let's go inside because it's time to get to work. She wouldn't want, in my humble opinion, tanto guato para ella, because that's how she was. So humble that she couldn't see her reflection of greatness. She could not see her reflection of leadership. You know, one of my favorite quotes, I got it from, the internet. I believe everything on the internet, by the way. On the internet, there's a quote that says, leadership is action, not position. And I believe the person that I got it from was someone named Gannon, Donald Gannon. Well, Esther Buckley, right now, as you're shining down upon us from heaven, and the words at the top of this school bear your name, truly, you led by example, you led by action, and your heart and your actions speak forever in my heart. Everything that I do in my current capacity, I'll never forget what I was taught by Esther Buckley. Act. Don't talk, act. And back up your words with action. Today, we are showing her that we're going to act on her behalf. Every student that enters these doors is going to bear her name with honor. And I'm just so proud to have known her for the time that I did. And I'm even prouder to have said, I fought with her and I loved her. To the family, congratulations. This is probably the smallest token of appreciation we could give her, but it is the most appropriate. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Pro. We are delighted to have our state senator with us this morning. Senator Judith Saffarini, the first Mexican-American woman elected to the Texas Senate, was also the first woman to be named Dean of the Senate in 2023. Dean Saffarini's legendary work ethic is reflected in her having cast 76,843 consecutive votes since 1987 and passing 1,524 bills, making her the highest bill passer in the state of Texas. So showing her bipartisan effectiveness in the 2025 Republican-dominated Texas legislature, she passed 136 bills, making her the highest bill-passing legislator for 6 consecutive sessions. Wow. Dean Zaffarini is Vice Chair of the Senate Committee on Natural Resources and a member of the Senate Committee on Business and Commerce, Finance and State Affairs, and the Texas Judicial Council and Texas Access to Justice Commission. An award-winning communications specialist and former educator who supported herself since she was 17 and married her high school sweetheart at 18, she holds a bachelor's, masterate, and PhD degrees from the University of Texas at Austin. The Dean is the namesake of the courthouse in Webb County, a Student Success Center and Medal for Leadership and Scholarship at TAMIU, a library at Laredo College, an elementary school at United ISD, a park in Laredo, and a road at Lake Casablanca International State Park. Interestingly, the Sisters of Mercy named her an honorary nun, Sister Judy. And the Washington's Birthday Celebration Association named her Mr. South Texas. So married for 60 years, Judy and her husband, Carlos, have one son, Carlos Jr., who's an accomplished attorney, businessman, and philanthropist. And with her daughter-in-law, Audrey, they have 2 grandsons, very handsome Asher and George. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Dean Senator Judith Zaffarini.
Thank you, Veronica. Isn't she doing a wonderful job as our Master of Ceremonies? What a special day to honor such a special woman, Esther Buckley. Everyone who knew her loved her. But let me make this very clear. When I first moved to Laredo, the woman whom I saw as the premier leader for women in public life, in public service, in other words, in politics, was her mother, Mrs. Gonzalez Arroyo. And I believe that of everything that Esther has done, her biggest tribute through her action is to her mother, Amalia Gonzalez Arroyo. Let's give her a wonderful round of applause. And we thank the trustees who named this early college high school after Esther Buckley. I would like them to please stand as a group so that we can recognize you and thank you as a group for your leadership. All the trustees for LISD. Because you as trustees understood how meaningful and memorable this day would be, how important it was to honor one of your own for her success, for her leadership, for her legacy, and the impact she has had. She taught me oh so well. Once a tiger, always a tiger. And she lived by the words of Henry Adams, who wrote so long ago that a teacher impacts eternity. You never know where his or her influence may extend. That was Esther Buckley. She was an incredible woman who leaves us a wonderful legacy. Her family, her 7 children, her 12 grandchildren, and I would ask them to please stand. Her 7 children and 12 grandchildren, please stand and be recognized as a group. And I disagree with the previous speakers only in one respect. I think she would have loved today. She would have loved it. She would have recognized the meaning of this honor, but she wouldn't have taken it personally. She would have taken it as an expression of trust in the future that teachers leave. And I believe she would have accepted it in the name of her mother and of her father and of her husband, Elmer Buckley, who was her partner throughout her life. People may wonder why I'm here. Many of you probably didn't know that we were friends. Well, let me tell you how close we were. Her children will attest to this. What did you get from me every Thanksgiving and Christmas? Cookies and candies. A huge tray of cookies and candies that I made. And what would I get from you all? Creamed peas. They would make for me creamed peas because after my mother passed, I told Elmer and Esther that we didn't have her recipe for creamed peas. They proceeded to every Thanksgiving and Christmas bring us creamed peas. And they always had a surprise. One holiday they would have cocktail onions, another time they would have carrots, another time broccoli stems, something different. But that's how close we were, that we exchanged treats, homemade treats. That's being a pretty good friend. But I remember Esther so well in so many ways. And frankly, she was always talking to members of the legislature. She would come before us to lobby us, not for herself, but for teachers, for students, and for administrators and staff, because she understood that teachers did not work alone, that teachers were members of educational teams. And so she took the time to travel to Austin time and time and time again, to travel to Austin to talk to us about the importance of paying teachers adequately. And I believe that we should pay teachers fairly and should be higher than the national average and the state average in salaries for teachers and other staff. And that is what she believed. She was honored so many times. Mayors, governors, presidents appointed her time and time again to different commissions. Perhaps the greatest impact she had was serving on the United States Commission on Civil Rights, appointed by President Reagan. And because of that work, she certainly had made a difference for women. The mayor then appointed her to our first commission for women. And there too, she had an impact, reaching out to Laredo women. And she never said, be like me. She would say, if I can do this, you can do more. She was truly an inspiration every day in every way. And that is what I will always remember about her. I remember one day in the Senate, I was on my way to the Finance Committee, and I had been preparing. It was a very important committee. And I told my staff, no interruptions, I have to get ready and I can't be late. If anybody drops by, tell them I'll talk to them later. I have to be there on time, but I have to finish getting ready. And some of you know, if you know me, I like to be prepared and I like to be early, not on time. So 15 minutes before the starting time, I dash out of my office with my notebooks, and who is standing there? Esther and James. Remember James? They were standing there. I had to make a split decision. Do I say, hi, how are you? Goodbye, I'm late to finance, or I don't want to be late to finance? Or do I stop, change my practice, be late to finance, and talk to 2 constituents? What do you think I did? Talk to 2 constituents. So I took the time. You didn't even know that, James, did you? We stepped into my office and had a standing meeting. We didn't even sit. And what did they lobby for? Teacher pay raises, restoring more than $5 million for public school education. Everything that they were talking about was good for our students, good for our teachers, good for our staff. And it was unbelievable. During that conversation, James will remember, we talked about her PhD studies, and she had interrupted them because she was so busy. She loved everything about her work. She loved everything about her public service, and she loved everything about politics, having served, as her husband had, as chair of the local Republican Party. She was so very, very busy that she interrupted her doctoral studies. At one time, she had pursued them at A&M. Later, she wanted to be the first PhD awarded at Texas A&M International University. But she had interrupted them. At the end of that conversation, she pledged that she was going to go back, and we were going to talk to the president about continuing her program, continuing that education so that she could get her PhD. And you know what I think we should do? I think we should ask the university to award her degree posthumously. And I think we should all sign that letter asking for that, because she worked so hard. And she truly lived by her own words when she said, as long as I can, I will be useful to my community and to its advancement. More beautiful words were never spoken. I am so proud to be here with you, so grateful to the trustees who made this possible, and so grateful for the friendship not only of Esther, but of her husband, Elmer, and of her mother, Amalia González Arroyo. Thank you so much. Muchísimas gracias. Que Dios los bendiga.
Wow. Dr. Safferini was my Communications 101 professor at Laredo Junior College a few years back. I learned so much from her, and I continue learning from her today. Thank you so much. She did that without any notes. Okay, so it's just so impressive. Before we continue, I also would like to welcome the Associate Judge of County Courts, Ms. Leticia Martinez. I know I saw her here. Oh, there you are. Thank you for joining us. And representing Henry Cuellar, we have his legislative aide, Ms. Melissa Peña, whom I also, there you are. Thank you both for being here. And now I invite to the podium the director of the Esther Buckley Early College High School, Ms. Jerry Arredondo, who had the good fortune to work alongside Ms. Buckley.
Thank you, Veronica. Unlike Senator Safrini, I do need notes, so I have my notes. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. I've often been told that I use the word blessed a lot. Well, today I truly feel blessed to witness this momentous occasion that I was hoping that one day would happen. I had the privilege of working alongside Ms. Buckley, one of the most dedicated educators I have ever known. Almost 15 years ago, in 2011, Ms. Buckley was already teaching here when I took over as director of what was then the Health Science Magnet. I witnessed firsthand the unwavering passion she infused in her teaching and the profound love she had for her students. She didn't just teach, she inspired. She inspired students to unleash their creativity and to think beyond conventional boundaries, especially during science fair. Mr. Vicharelli, do you remember that? Where are you? Remember? She was awesome with science fair. She recognized students' potential even before they could see it in themselves. Her classroom, H207, right upstairs, was not just a place of learning. It was a safe space, a home, a haven. And I said this with nothing but admiration. Ms. Buckley transformed me into a better leader, just like Mr. Pro was saying. She challenged me too. She wanted me to think critically outside the box, to question, to research, to be prepared to defend my ideas. She advocated for research-based learning, and she herself was a wealth of knowledge. Ms. Buckley became a mentor to me and to countless administrators and teachers alike. Today, as we dedicate this school in her name, we are doing something truly powerful. We honor a life lived with purpose, passion, and principle. We send a message to every student walking these halls, every teacher stepping into a classroom, and every parent visiting, that this institution stands for more than academics. It stands for true spirit, dedication, and the unwavering belief in the transformative power of education. It stands for Esther G. Buckley. This is not just a building with a new name. This is a momentum to a life well lived and a legacy well earned. Down this hall, in a glass case, you will see a paper chain. Each link represents heartfelt words written by students whom Ms. Buckley inspired and touched. These expressions of gratitude and love captured the profound impact she had as a teacher. This chain is just a small segment of a much larger one, symbolizing the enduring influence she had on all her students. To Ms. Esther G. Buckley, and I know she's looking down at us, your impact on every student you lifted, every colleague you encouraged, many of whom are here today. And now, in the very name of this school, a school you loved and devoted so much of yourself to, Esther G. Buckley High School is committed to honoring the light you brought into this world and embody the love you had for education. And in conclusion, I am proud to share that we are fulfilling that promise. Just yesterday, we received notification that Esther G. Buckley Early College High School has not only been granted designation by the Texas Education Agency, but has also earned all 3 early college distinctions: Access, attainment, and achievement for the 4th year in a row. This is an incredible achievement that reflects the hard work and dedication of our students, many who are here today witnessing this great occasion, and I'm hoping that they remember this for the rest of their lives. And the faculty that works so tirelessly with our students with dedication and commitment, and the entire community. And to the Buckley family, this is your home. You are welcome here. And I invite you to please bring Ms. Buckley's stories to our students. Come and share what you know of Ms. Buckley so that they can see how important it is to have a name and graduate from Esther G. Buckley Early College High School. Again, everyone, thank you so much for being here, and I am so proud to be the director of Esther G. Buckley Early College High School.
Thank you so much for sharing your memories with us. Members of the Buckley family traveled to Laredo from near and far to be with us today. So here to talk about her mother is an LISD colleague, proud to call her my colleague, Miss Buckley's daughter, Miss Trina Buckley Bratton.
Good morning, everyone. And thank you for being here. Truly, it means a lot to us to have you here. I'd like to thank you, school board members, Interim Superintendent Mr. Pro. Our family is humbled and grateful for this incredible honor that you have bestowed on our mother. Thank you, everyone, for being here, because it means so much to us to see so many people here to celebrate our mother and this honor with us. Esther Gonzalez Arroyo Buckley was a phenomenal woman, and her life as we experienced it was full of memorable moments. She bonded with her family, her students, colleagues, and friends, unifying people through her culture, familial beliefs, passion for helping others, and spirituality. As her children, of course, our mother is very dear to us. Our mothers are our primary influencers. Through their example, interactions with us, and the life lessons they teach us, we become the people we are. Although our mother has passed, her legacy lives on in the memories and stories that people have of her. So permit me to tell you some of our own. The American daughter of Mexican parents, Héctor González Arroyo and Amalia Ayala Villarreal. Our grandfather was from Veracruz, of Totonacan descent, and our grandmother was born in Monterrey, of Spanish descent. Our grandmother lived in Laredo and became a naturalized citizen at 18. Our mother grew up surrounded by a large family of tías, tíos, and primos, who influenced her through their careers as educators, doctors, lawyers, engineers, and firemen. She had disciplined, nurturing parents with deep religious devotion, as well as strong family and community ties. Honor, good manners, and respect for authority and elders were values learned through expectations. Generational bonding and interactions. From the family, our mother observed different ways of serving and caring for people. The family taught us and taught our mother through their different ways that they believed in giving of their time and energy simply because it was the needed and it was the right thing to do. Through family, neighborhood, and church activities, she experienced many moments of group harmony and mutual support. As Hispanics, dichos or sayings are common ways to raise children and live life. It was common to hear, mejor solo que mal acompañado, or dime con quién te juntas y te diré quién eres. Around our house, we also heard, mañana nunca llega, calladito te ves más bonito, cabeza de coco prende el foco. Mejor pedir perdón que pedir permiso. Well, maybe we weren't supposed to hear that one. Often, our grandmother would be heard saying, anything worth doing is worth doing right. From this philosophy, high expectations were set in all areas of life. We would also hear stories about how our grandfather had the philosophy of, si tiene remedio, no te preocupes. Y si no tiene remedio, pues no te preocupes. This motto proved useful during life's challenges and missteps. Additionally, the family believed being fully literate in English and Spanish was a standard and valuable asset. In our family village, it was common to speak Spanish at home and English out in public. However, both languages needed to be spoken well. My grandmother even tutored my brother and me several summers using Castilian Spanish books to ensure that we did the same. Even our father, transplanted into the family, learned to speak Spanish, maybe with a little bit of a Kentucky accent. While most seniors graduated at 18, our mother graduated from Martin High School as a salutatorian at 15. From there, wanting to be like our aunt, a doctor, our mother started college studies here in Laredo and got her bachelor's degree from the University of Texas. She continued to medical school, but the calling to be a teacher was stronger, as our mother loved helping others learn and succeed. Around this time, she met our father, Elmer Buckley. He also came from a large family, and together they established their home and started their family here in Laredo. A science teacher who lived and breathed her subject, our mother was a force of motion herself, embodying Newton's law. Starting at Kristen Middle School and moving to Nixon Annex, her innate drive to be helpful led her to join the district's teacher advisory committee and become an integral member of the local organization ATPE. She worked with the superintendent and staff to improve operations and instruction. Everyone respected her authority. If you saw the bun and the glasses, especially with a pencil tucked in, you knew a woman with a serious mission was approaching. With all the activities and events our mom participated in, she was constantly in motion. Sometimes it seemed she didn't rest much, but during those times, coffee and Coca-Colas were her favorite energy drinks. She was involved in many committees and held several positions at the local, state, and national levels. In every instance, she was driven to ensure a common purpose and usually to improve engagement and performance. She was always looking for solutions to help systems work better, improve access to resources, and ensure the best was being done. Our mother was an agent of change, embodying Newton's second law by multiplying her passion and desire to take action to swiftly improve opportunities for students. She pioneered science activities such as the Physics Olympics and the Physics Fun Days, with the goal of fostering a love for science parallel to the encouragement for reading. Recognizing the need for career readiness, she worked with the university to bring engineering degree programs to Laredo and increase district staff development focused on math and science. As a teacher at the Health Science Magnet School, she utilized her abilities to grow programs and learning experiences that strengthen students' preparations for their professional careers. Her force wanted to see masses of students accelerate their path of learning to be successful and productive citizens. Our mother's life seemed to align with Newton's third law: for every action, an equal and opposite reaction, and with her favorite, the prayer of St. Francis. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. We often saw this as she brought people together for the common good, regardless of differing opinions. Having worked at all the LISD high schools, she was skilled at getting people to look beyond rivalries, like Martin Nixon, UT and A&M, or Cowboys and Steelers, and utilize getting people to look beyond rivalries and to use their strengths for a shared purpose. She demonstrated that even strong natures are not meant to be devices. We are people first, and for many of us, somos hijos de Dios, and that is our underlying commonality. While we can fiercely support our teams and ideals, we must remember that neighbors are extensions of family, and we can be friends again tomorrow. Our mother showed this even applies to Democrats and Republicans, whose differences in foundational philosophies should expand thinking, not create animosity. Ultimately, love and appreciation for one another from our families to our community is what should bring us together. The prayer also mentions that where there is doubt, let there be faith. Where there is despair, hope. Whenever our mom participated in a project or event, she always had a si se puede mindset. When challenges or obstacles arose, she would calmly look for remedies. Her sense of humor and optimistic nature would encourage people to commit their time, work hard, and enjoy the results of the group's labors and success. Growing up, our mom would often tell us, life is not fair, but she would give us hope for change, making things more fair as we saw her speak up when things weren't right or working well. This was evidenced in her time as a U.S. Civil Rights Commission, where she worked to address discrimination. Where there is darkness, light. This part of the prayer continues the message of hope, and it seems to be echoed in my grandfather's favorite saying, although chances are my mother reimagined it as, ¿Tiene remedio? No te preocupes. Resilience and tenacity were common themes in her mission to find solutions and options for people in need. If better was possible, she would not rest until it was good enough. Where there is sadness, joy. Our mother was a very compassionate woman. She volunteered her time with many organizations such as the Women's Cities Club and Casa Misericordia, where she worked to bring joy and relief to people's hardships. Her strong Hispanic nature infused and drove her actions. She built strong interrelationships between the different groups she worked with. She built rapport with students, parents, colleagues, and friends, treating them as her family. She demonstrated how pooling resources and supporting one another during times of need made the whole stronger, more productive, and more successful. Looking at the kind of person our mother was and basing myself on her collection of elephants and tiger items, I would tell you she was similar to those two animals. I think she agrees. They might have been her chosen spirit animals because what seems appropriate is that professionally she resembled the tiger, and the elephant seemed more her personal maternal side. Their characteristic energy, sense of presence, and fierceness matched her well. Elephants are associated with strength, calmness, wisdom, good memory, protection, and family-orientedness. Over the years, our mother made many strong bonds and social connections with people, and we see the evidence of that in the many stories people have about her and the special moments they recall being with her. Look at how many people are here today, so many years later, and this is also proof of her strong influence and connection to people. As for the tiger, our mom was a very proud Martin High School alumna. The motto, once a tiger, always a tiger, was not just words to her. Known for their raw energy, intuition, fearlessness, and power, our mother demonstrated her inner tigress through her resilience in overcoming challenges and obstacles to her goals by bringing people together, finding opportunities, resources, and solutions for her students, colleagues, and community. She proved the tiger in her was alive and in full force when needed. Finally, being a mother was important to our mom. To me, this is when the elephant in her came out strongest. Our mother shared with us the same traditions and expectations she grew up with. She kept a watchful eye on us and quietly steered us in the direction she wanted us to go. She would let us be risk takers and creative thinkers, encouraging us to act with discernment and think before acting. She disciplined us with frequent reminders, clear expectations, and consequences for our actions. When we didn't choose wisely after our redirections, she was forgiving and had us reflect and look for better ways to do things. At times, our mom worried she didn't spend enough time with us because of all the time she spent at school, at meetings, and working with the committee. It's funny because she once told me she didn't think we missed her when she was away on her work trips. I laughed and told her she was being silly because when we did things as a family, the quality of time we spent together was enough to carry us when she had to be away. So that's why it seemed we didn't miss her. In our times together, she taught us to be confident, responsible, independent problem solvers. I think we all knew she was out doing good, doing important work, and we were okay with it. Her expectations were well ingrained in us, and we had the village of tios and tias, like she did, to watch over us and keep us distracted. Plus, she left us a list of things to do that she expected us to have done when she got back, and no one wanted to get the scolding if we didn't. We were so busy, we didn't have time to miss anyone. She taught us the quality of interactions far outweighs the quantity. Building memories through family trips, game nights, family meals, and watching her favorite TV shows, and even going to church became precious to us. We each have special moments with our mom that we can easily recall and laugh about. For me, this happened often. I would tell my mom about something that I said or had done that day, and she would say to me, "Dijiste eso, hiciste eso." Invariably, I would say, "Pues de quién soy hija?" I mean, if you grow up with a tiger or an elephant, what do you expect? Sometimes she would shake her head, smirk, or laugh. If you're lucky enough to have as many fond memories with your parents as we did, you are blessed. In conclusion, we all face the loss of our parents. We don't always understand their exits. In Spanish, there is a saying, no hay mal que por bien no venga. This one took me a while to understand because I couldn't apply it to death. But in the end, it's about silver linings. When our loved ones leave us, it is the memories built, the lessons learned from them, and most especially the hidden blessings that keep them close to us. It is their legacies left behind. Students, in this space, there is a collective of people with stories and fond memories of how one person impacted their lives. Hopefully, some will be shared with you later. For us, the main expectation and lesson our mother left us is to use our own strengths and talents to help people. Treat people well and with compassion, even when they don't think, look, or behave like you. See the strengths in them and forgive the imperfections. Yes, anything worth doing is worth doing right. So focus on your goals and dreams. You will have to work hard. There will be challenges, but don't worry. You'll find solutions and everything will work out. Your actions, interactions, and accomplishments will be the legacy left behind through people's memories of you. It is the quality of your actions and interactions that will define you. Like a tiger, focus on what you want. Plan your approach. Be patient and thoughtful. And when the moment comes, pounce on it and make things happen. Give back to your family and community and help them. Once a tiger, always a tiger. Thank you again, everyone, from the bottom of our hearts. We are eternally grateful to the LASD School Board Interim Superintendent, Mr. Pro, Mr. Perez. I am sure your dear friend is beaming with love and appreciation. Mom would be so moved to see everyone who has come today in support of her. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Trina. And now for the moment we have all been waiting for, I'm going to ask our board members, Mr. Pro, Ms. Arredondo, and members of the Buckley family to join us up here. We are going to be unveiling the portrait that will hang forever. And siblings, help us count down. 5, 4, 3, 2,